My dear Abigail, Ann Terwilliger Jones, Margaret, Hillary, Catherine, Hannah, Felicity, Laura, Acadia, Kristen, Favreau Schwartz. This is your happy birthday present from Mazie. Can you guess what it is? You are right. Remember a long time ago you asked me to teach you how to bake a pie. And we never seem to have had that opportunity. So here we go. I'm going to show you how I bake a pie. It's not maybe how everybody bakes a pie, but this is a Mazie pie. Shall we begin? One important thing about baking is your ingredients. As you see, only the best gold medal unbleached all-purpose flour, Crisco all vegetable shortening, Macintosh apples. Those are the three main ingredients. Other ingredients you will see as we progress. The other important thing is to have the right utensils. I have been using this bowl for 55 years. No, it would be 54 because we got it from Uncle Rudolph Roulier. Did you ever hear of him? Well, he was your father's great uncle, and he was the mayor of Cohoes, and he was a Democrat, of course. So we will proceed. So the first thing we are going to do is make the crust. I don't think I need to open that up because I think I already have my gold medal flour right here in my canister, by the way. So, for a 9-inch pie crust, my ingredients are 2 cups of flour. I don't sift. Some people think you should. I just never have bothered. That's 1. That's 2. A pinch of salt. Or more than a pinch of salt. I should probably have my spoons here. And some sugar. Like less than 1/4 cup. This is 1/4 cup. So next is the vegetable shortening, which of course would be Crisco in my house. And in order to measure it easily, it's a very good trick to rinse the measuring cup out with water so that it's easy for the Crisco to fall out of the cup and you don't waste as much. So I have put in 2 cups of flour. For every cup of flour, I use 1 cup of Crisco. So here I go. See if I've got enough here. Just push it down and push it down until it kind of pops over, and then I cross that off like that. Now let's see how easily it comes out. It just, oopsie, sorry about that. It pops out, and there really isn't much left in there. See that? Okay. Now we'll put this aside. Blending. This is my pastry blender. Some people use knives, but I find it's easier to use a pastry blender. Some people also, in modern times, use food processors. I just haven't graduated to that yet. I'm just still your old-fashioned Mazie. So here I go. You see what I'm doing here. I am blending the Crisco in with the flour, sugar, and salt. And it is not vitally important that you get these, every single bit of these pieces of Crisco in tiny little bits. It likes to rest. In order to make it flaky, it's nice to have it rest. And it rests at least for a half an hour in the refrigerator. So we'll be doing that in a minute. Next is, I'll take another cup, ice water. notice that I'm using my refrigerator water because it should be very icy. And the proportion for 2 cups of flour, or for however many cups you use, 2 tablespoons of water for 1 cup of flour. So that would be, you're right, 4 tablespoons of water. Water. My fork, and I blended it further. It's not absolutely necessary at this point to make sure it comes together in a ball, because that also happens in the fridge. When it rests, it kind of combines itself. Okay, so now we're going to put it on a piece of wax paper. I don't really care what kind. I do use Scut-Rite, however. Of course, Uncle Rick would rather I use Reynolds. Never could figure out why. He doesn't make any money from Reynolds wrap, but he seems to think we should use it. Okay, so this looks good. It's there. Wrapping it up. Putting it in the fridge. And we're going to leave it there for at least a half an hour. I think it's been a half an hour. Probably it's time. It can be longer if you choose. You could even do it a day before. I forgot to tell you about pie pan. I like to use a glass pie pan. I feel it bakes evenly, and you can see the bottom of the crust and see that it's baked thoroughly. However, I often have to use foil pans because it seems like I'm always giving pies away. So they seem to work. People like them as well, but I would, if I had my druthers, they'd always be in a glass pan. Now we'll get our pie crust. See how it works. Of course, the next thing is the board and the rolling pin. Just as a little side information, this board came from your mother, Abigail, when Poppy was recovering from a heart attack and he decided to bake bread when he was recovering. So just thought I'd throw that in. So sometimes if I'm in a hurry or lazy or whatever, sometimes I roll it out right on the counter. It works that way too. But it's probably better if you use the breadboard. Now let's see how this is. Should probably use half of it. Doesn't look too good right this moment, but let's see if we can roll it out. So the first thing is you sprinkle flour liberally on the breadboard, and I form it into a little ball kind of thing. Oh dear, we have a problem here. We'll see. Make sure there's plenty of flour in the rolling pin. And of course the object is to roll it in a circle about a ½ inch in circumference, larger than the pan. I don't know if this will gonna be good. We had a little accident, Abby, and the breadboard kind of broke in the middle. You can feel when it's right. you can feel whether you've rolled it enough. If that's a little higher than here, then you're going to concentrate on that area. Now, you can determine if it's large enough by putting your pan upside down. And it does seem to appear that it's large enough. So now, the next trick is to get it from here to the pie pan. You always need to have it enough hanging over so that we can make our pretty finished product by the crimping that I do. And in order to do that, you need to have extra here. Some people use a fork, I use my fingers. So you can play with it and get it to stretch. Okay, so now we're going over and do the apple filling. Like I said before, the products are important. I always like to use Macintosh apples. Many people disagree because they're not as firm, but I think they're tastier than some. Get a Price Chopper bag and put my peels right in there. That's not important. You can put them wherever you want. So I need my sugar, my apples, my cinnamon, and most important, butter. So here we go, peeling our apples. I try to make a game out of it to see how many apples I can peel without the skin breaking apart. And I try to see to make it as thin as possible so that the good apple doesn't go in the garbage, if you know what I mean. So far, oops, nope, didn't do it that time, but that's alright. So, I will proceed to peel all these apples, and I'll let the photographer rest for a moment when I get those apples peeled. Okay, I bet you I'll probably get one completely peeled without breaking it while I'm not on camera, but that's alright. Now we're going to slice the apples into the waiting crust. Many people, you're Nanny, remember it's always talking about Nanny, always cut her apples in quarters, cut out the core, and slice the apples, and her slices were very uniform. But I'm very happy to do it this way. I get them very thin, and therefore it's easier to cook the pie when they're nice and thin like this. So I just go around, and you know, once the apples are in the pie, nobody knows whether they're all the same size or not, and except if there's a big chunky one, it won't cook. So you don't ever want chunky apples. You want thinly sliced apples. So after I do 2 apples, I use 7 in general for a 9-inch pie. 7 good size. Now if they're a little teeny, you just keep putting more in so you get the right amount to fill the pie shell. Oh, I'm a little lopsided here. So far, so good, Abby? You understand it all? Do you have any questions? When are you gonna bake your pie? Okay, so we've done 2 apples. Now it's time to put in the other ingredients. This is a 1/4 cup measure, so I usually use a cup per pie this size, so I'll use 1 measure and a little more for each layer. Here goes just a little cinnamon. And now it's next. We're gonna keep going till we get all the apples sliced. I really wish I had one more apple. This pie dish is a little deeper than I had anticipated. I like to pile them up and then push them down because they do cook and it shrinks while it's cooking. But be that as it may, that's all the apples I have today. So it's the final sugaring. A little more, remember. The final cinnamon, and most important, you have to have butter, and I use half a stick. Isn't that a cute little piece of butter? They're brand new. They come in 8s now instead of just quarters. So if you're a single person, you don't have to have all the butter out all the time, like I am. So I try to put it around evenly. Now I bring it over here. Here we go again. Rolling it out, just like before. It's always wise to roll from the center out. Get the picture. Oops, accident. I really am missing my other board. Okay, now's the time to trim, but I don't think I have any to trim. So now's the time to make our pretty edges, which I roll over. And I'll use that where I'm missing some, as you can see. There's a little dog licking my toes.
Hi, Lily.
You kind of rob Peter to pay Paul when you get in a situation like that. So I've got to take some of the leftover crust and stick it in where some is missing. So I'll have a nice rounded area to make my pretty edges. Well, I think they're pretty anyway. So here I am, ready to begin doing the edges. Let's start right here. Can you see good from there?
I'll come over to the other side.
Oh, one thing I forgot. You must always preheat the oven. 450. I was so busy, I didn't do that. And you probably should check and see if something's in the oven, because some people have a habit of storing things in the oven and then it gets baked twice. Oopsie, that's a little skimpy. Kind of ruined that. Not too bad. Now, very important to put slits here, and do you know why? I bet you do, because you're a really art cook, aren't you, Abigail? Well, I'll tell you anyway. It's to let the steam out so that the crust doesn't crack. All right, we are ready to put it in the oven as soon as it's preheated. And we bake it 450 for for 10 minutes and down to 375 for probably 40 minutes. And it's very wise also to put a pan under your pie so that it catches the drippings and you don't have to clean the oven so often. So we will wait till it's preheated and stick the pie in, and then the next chapter is the finished product. Okay, here we go in the oven. I put my pan under there to catch the drippings. So we'll put on the timer for 10 minutes and answer the phone. And by the way, don't you like this towel? Auntie Yacht made that on her loom. I believe the pie is ready. The timer has gone off. Let's see if the fork agrees. If the pie is done. I believe it is. And so there we have the finished product. Always put it on a hot pad when it comes out of the oven. So that concludes our program, our video, and I would like to give credit to the videographer, Liz, and our audience, Lily. Here we are, and Mrs. Anderson from my lovely apron, which is already dirty. I hope that you will find this fun and very instructional, and I look forward to partaking of your first pie. Happy birthday. Love you, Abby.